And welcome to the race weekend in Washington. I'm Joe St. George. Well, stop me if you've heard this before. It was another consequential week in the race for president. President Biden and former President Donald Trump each held fundraisers all over the country the past few days. And this weekend, well, neither is slowing down. Biden is in Atlanta for a fundraiser and a commencement speech at Morehouse College, while former President Trump is in Texas for the NRA's Leadership Summit. All this as both candidates agreed to not one, but two debates later this year. A week ago, we weren't sure if the debate was even going to happen. Now one is taking place in a few short weeks. Let's dive deeper here with our partners at Politico. It's time now for our Inside the Race panel. This week from Politico, we have White House reporter, co-author of the West Wing Playbook, the man who knows everything about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Eli Stokel's. Good to see you, sir. From Scripps News, we have senior national political correspondent Charles Benson at his usual perch in our Scripps News newsroom in Milwaukee, and our political analyst, Steve Schmidt. All welcome. Eli, got to start with you. Will a June debate make a difference? I mean, this is what I know about campaigns. After Labor Day is usually when many Americans who vote start paying attention. What do you make of the Biden campaign saying, we got to do this earlier?
Well, I think it's a reflection, Joe, of the fact that they realize that they have not been able to change the dynamic in the race. They've spent tens of millions of dollars on television ads, positive Joe Biden ads, contrast spots contrasting Biden with Trump. Hasn't really moved the needle. And I think, you know, when you look at deficits that they are running with people who turned out for Joe Biden in 2020, black voters not showing up, Hispanic voters not showing up as in supporting the president in the same numbers that they need. They know they need voters to get tuned into this race sooner to change this dynamic, to start to see this as a binary choice between Trump or Biden. And so does a debate in June help them do that? Yes, it does. Will it be on voters' minds in September and October as early voting begins, and in November when people are going to the polls on Election Day? Probably not. For a campaign that has an 81-year-old principal, there's not necessarily a slam dunk to win a debate. It's also sort of an insurance policy, because if the president has a bad debate in June, it's sort of over and done with. So there are lots of reasons they wanted to do this. And also, I think moving up the debate was not something the Commission on Presidential Debates was going to do. And there was frustration among Biden advisors, and also frustration in the Trump camp with the commission. And so this is that rare instance where both campaigns and candidates had an incentive to agree to go around the commission, to agree to these debates. And really, in terms of strategy, the Biden folks did sort of, win in terms of putting this out there themselves, forcing Trump to say that he would show up, and getting the debates that they wanted on their terms. They'll be in a studio. There won't be an audience. That was a real concern for Biden folks, that Trump would be playing to a crowd. These will be debates in closed TV studios with just the principals, where the technicians can cut President Trump's mic if need be. So the Biden folks really got what they wanted here, and they are hoping that a positive performance in a June debate, or a sharper direct contrast with Trump and Biden, will help voters sort of clue into the actual matchup, to the stakes, to some of the issues, and then maybe that will help them start to gain ground in some polls.
Steve, earlier this week, you told me that alumni of presidential campaigns like yourself, you've worked on presidential campaigns at the highest level, that you guys are celebrating the collapse of this presidential debate commission. With the commission out of it now, and we've had a few days to process this new debate structure, what would you encourage both campaigns to try and get CNN and ABC to agree to, so these debates benefit them?
Well, let me just say that this debate in June upends the entire fall presidential calendar. That you have had a regimen that goes back decades, where 15 days of the post-Labor Day campaign, in an enterprise where you're managing two finite, diminishing commodities, time and money, were consumed by the debates, and that's gone. There was also a history where the incumbent president would fall flat in the first debate, but then there was a circuit breaker. Usually the vice presidential debate was in the two position, and then you would have the recovery debate. But this section of debates that plays out between mid-September and October was a huge component of the rhythm of the competition. It's gone. In June now, we have a debate that's 48 days, I believe, before the first convention. And if Biden does not do well in this debate, there will be a long season where Trump has possession of the proverbial ball.
All right, let's go to Milwaukee. Charles, you interviewed former President Trump this week. You had that big exclusive. You asked him about the likelihood that he will name his VP pick in Milwaukee. An interesting answer I want to play for our audience. Let's play it if we can.
That's probably a pretty good chance, I would say. I don't say anything's 100%, but you're getting pretty close. I'll be doing it in Milwaukee. We're going to have a great time. It's a beautiful arena. It's a beautiful space. And we're spending a lot of money, and we're bringing it to the state. And I hope the people, when they vote, are going to remember that, because we're bringing a lot of jobs and a lot of economic development. We're bringing our convention, and we had plenty of options. We're bringing the convention to Milwaukee. It really is an important state for us. Wisconsin has to be won by us. We want to win it. If we win Wisconsin, I think we win the whole thing.
Charles, what's your biggest takeaway from your chat with the former president?
Well, certainly on that answer, it was interesting. He kind of takes a step forward saying, pretty good chance, then takes a step back, says it's not 100%. But look, we all know that these conventions are pretty scripted, well programmed. So, and he's a guy who understands theater and, raising suspense. And that could give this convention some energy that we haven't seen since 1988, when George Herbert Walker Bush did that. He picked his VP during the convention. So it gives us a possibility of some big news coming out of Milwaukee than what is normally seen around a convention.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there for now on this discussion. Eli, Charles, Steve, thank you so much for your insight. Coming up on the race weekend, we